I thought that I would share some insights about how to avoid getting your energy sucked or drained. I've mentioned that this infrastructure, which includes the technological infrastructure with our phones, and the screens, and everything, it has the capability to siphon energy. And what I've noticed more and more is that when you feed into the comfort of this technology or whatever it is, it doesn't even have to be through the phones and stuff like that. You can get your energy drained if you're just in an environment where you're susceptible to it. It's that is a problem, and it happens when we fall into that trap. Um, these algorithms are designed in a way that is addictive, and it feeds your comfort. This is what your body wants. It wants to feel comfortable. It wants to know what's familiar. So you can get that dopamine, that chemical release, that relaxation. But what I'm finding is that the most profound and memorable experiences came when I went outside of my comfort zone. So I'm thinking back and reflecting on times where I felt my best, my strongest, mentally and physically, energetically, spiritually. And what happened? I was out of my comfort zone. I was having different experiences with other people. And it had nothing to do with just crawling into that nest, because that's what cancer is. A cancer is when you are feeding into your comfort. And I've mentioned the algorithms of this technological infrastructure. I've mentioned how these social media algorithms, Instagram, Facebook, can be addictive. I've also mentioned the pornography thing. It can be extremely addictive, and what ends up happening is you'll get stuck in a place, where you're not being social, you're not having real, genuine interactions. That could be detrimental. Do things that are going to require you to go out to have real, authentic, raw experiences, because that's necessary. That's a necessary thing. I can't emphasize it enough. I'm trying to get my point across very clearly and precisely here, because it's simply essential. These traps, okay? Your body is going to crave, what it wants to feel good. You got to be hyper vigilant and aware of your body's tendencies of what it wants. Cancer in astrology. I urge you all to think about this. It deals with comfort. What are you doing that's just feeding it? I know I've repeated it a lot. However, you got to be willing to cut some things off sometimes. Because a lot of the things that we're addicted to are just straight poison for us. So what are you willing to cut off? Personally, me, it's like my comfort has reduced my social interactions, my ability to go out and have real experiences in the world, which is important. But sometimes ego gets in the way. We don't want to see certain people. We don't want to go certain places because we think it's going to be toxic. And I'm not telling you to go into a toxic environment. What I am saying is go somewhere where you can grow, because the growth for me personally has happened when I put myself in places that were different, that were unfamiliar, that went outside of the initial comfort zone. And guess what? It's not that scary. It's nothing to fear to go somewhere new and try something different. You have the discernment to know if it is something that you should go to or not. Like, you'll know if it's just pure toxicity. There's a difference between that and just growing, but having real, authentic experiences and interactions. I urge you to do that. I'm still figuring it out myself. There are a lot of distractions and pure evils in this reality, and you will fall into that trap when you succumb to your comfort zone. You will absolutely fall into that trap every time that you choose comfort. The worst moments of my life, where I felt the most stuck, is when I chose comfort, and this is a continuation. It's something that I've noticed as a pattern, and that pattern becomes more obvious. And it doesn't get easier. It just means, like, you become more aware that you got to get out of this. You have to break the cycle. And it takes a different type of mentality to realize my body's going to crave the comfort. So what am I going to do? How will I break this cycle? What kind of things in place am I going to set forward to make sure I don't fall into that trap? How am I going to ensure it? How do you become so precise about whatever it is that's needed? Because without that precision of the details, it's like you might just be floating around, just trying to convince yourself that you're doing the right thing, but you might not be. Go and have real, authentic experiences. The best moments of my life are when I was places that were different, unfamiliar, and you allow your brain, your mind to grow, to become stronger when you do something you don't really want to do in the short term, but in the long term you will see the results of it. It's just not comfortable. Comfort is the opposite of growth, because cancer, that's what it is. It's a poison. And if you allow that poison to grow, you're going to be stuck in a trap. So this is why I emphasize it so much. I'm dealing with this personally to this day, and I'm thinking, how do I get back to when I felt at my best, which was years ago, when I was out doing stuff more. And lately I've fallen into that comfort. So I speak not just for you all, but this is for me too, because I struggle with this. So we are capable of breaking patterns. We absolutely are. We are stronger than we realize.